Hello, everyone. It's William here from Allegory Gallery. Thank you for joining us tonight. Um, Andrew is still working on his project, so he will not be here live anyway. He might jump in on the comments, but when I was downstairs, he was uh, on the couch in front of his little heater in the living room, working on his seed bead project sculpture that he's working on. And so you've got me tonight, and maybe Andrew will jump in on the comments at some point too. I hope you're all doing well. How is everybody out there? It has been a day for me. Um, I just sat down to realize our desktop here is not on, or was not on. So it's going to take like a good probably 30 minutes for it to boot up and be ready for me to use. So we're going to chit chat as we always do and just let that do its thing. But that also means I was not able to share this video into our design challenges group or anywhere else. So please go in and share that for us. Somebody, if they can share it into the group, that would be great. Let me see who's here with me today. If you're here, say hi. Susie's here. Hello, Susie. Marianne is here. Hello, Marianne. Other Susie is here. Hello, hello. I don't know if you've noticed, but in the chat box here on the screen, I don't know if it's here for you all or here. My guess is it's over here because I have my screen mirrored. So I'm guessing it's over here. But the text is bigger and the box is narrower but taller. They've given us some options now for this text box. So hopefully, like even on my very small screen, I can make out what people are saying now. And my screen is much smaller probably than any of yours is. Because I'm only using about half of my phone screen. Well, actually, more like a third of my phone screen for my video. So hopefully y'all can see that, much easier to read. Hello, Norma, thanks for joining us. And hopefully that helps facilitate conversation because that is the place where you can see each other if you're on different platforms. So if you're on Facebook, you will only see Facebook members' comments. If you are on YouTube, you only see YouTube subscribers' comments. At least in your actual place where you leave comments. But on here, over here, which is weird because it's on this side of the screen to me. Over here, you'll be able to see everybody's comments. And that way you'll be able to chat back and forth a little bit easier, which makes it a little less difficult for me. Sometimes trying to, I always try and read out all the comments as much as I can so that y'all can chat back and forth. But this way, you can kind of still chat back and forth, even if you're not on the same platform. I think that's nice. Now, there's also an option. I have an option for it to be here, real wide, which I don't think makes sense for what we do, or tall. And I think tall works the best. So we're going to leave it there for now. Norma says, nice to be able to see everyone, right? I think so too. So that way, if you're talking to each other, if somebody on Facebook wants to say something to somebody on YouTube, or vice versa, they can do that, and you'll be able to easily see each other's comments and kind of keep the conversation going, even if they're not replying in your location where you're at. Marianne said she shared it publicly. Thank you so much. I don't know if anyone's been able to share it in the design challenges group specifically, but if you can do that, that would be great. Diane says, I like the tall. I think so too. I think it smushes everything together so you can kind of read everything. When things get long, so it's harder for me to read long than short. I think that's for most people the case. And hello, Diane. Thanks for joining in today. So I have random stuff today. I pulled random stuff from the stash. That's what we're going to take a look at in a little while. Once my computer has booted up. But it's going to take a while for that. And we chat for a while here anyway. My day was very, very busy. I got up and I started this morning with work on the laser. I had said that I was going to take everything off the online store that needed to be laser cut, that wasn't already pre-done, and I missed things. So I didn't realize that until after I was getting orders. And so there are pins that I needed to make and a few other things. So uh I was doing that on the laser today. So I cut out some blanks, and then I had to go the into the cottage to do the rest of the dye sublimation. I had a few orders that I wanted to push out and get out the door today, so I did that. And made sure those got out the door. I went to the post office today. On my way to the post office, I got pulled over, which was um, I had no idea why, because I'm very good about going the speed limit through town. I try very hard not to um I try very hard not to speed through small towns, of course. In our town especially. And so I was like, I have no idea why I'm getting pulled over, but here we go. And the officer was very nice and said, I'm pulling you over because I don't know if you know or not, but your registration is expired. I had no idea. You know, we do a lot of things, and sometimes that stuff, we used to in Pennsylvania have a little sticker that you put on your license plate, and that sticker would tell you when your registration needed to be renewed, or when your registration ended. And that was always a good thing for me. I could always look at the license plate and be like, okay, my registration, I need to fill this out. Now they send you something in the mail, which we get so much mail, and it does not always, kind of get flagged in our house. And they send it to you like early, you know? So it's not always the time, when I need to fill out the registration, and I should just do it then. But if you do it early, it oftentimes I think the way it works is if you do it early, it only extends it for it only extends it for like a year. So you miss a month. Like if you do it a month early, you're paying extra, and you don't get that extra month. It doesn't extend to the end. It doesn't add on to where you are. It just starts from where you register. So I always try and register right, when it needs to be. So I forgot this year. It's just a yearly thing, which is another thing, which is why it's hard to remember because it's a full year. Um, so um, Anyway, let me check on comments before we go further with that. Susan is here. Hello, Susan. Kimberly is here, says, totally late. I was starting dinner. That's good. That's all right. I know it's dinner time for a lot of people, right? It should be dinner time for us. Andrew's talking about making cinnamon rolls, which is good. I had to pick up some stuff for cinnamon rolls. Norma says, I'm trying to keep up with comments while mixing cookies. Norma's making cookies. Andrew's making cinnamon rolls. Santa Fe soup is what's for dinner tonight. Nice. That sounds great. Sue says, like the tall and being able to see our Facebook fam. Hi, Kimberly. Right? I think it's much better this way. Um, ba, ba, ba. At least it was only a warning, says Marianne. Yes. Kimberly says, we get stickers. Yeah, we used to get stickers for years. And then many, many years ago now, they stopped giving out the stickers. Marianne says, we don't have stickers anymore either. Um, yeah, so that was a thing. And they did just give me a warning. And he told me that he says, what I'm going to do is give you a warning, and I'm going to go fill out the paperwork, and you'll just have to take it into the station and show them that you've registered, and they'll sign off on it. And I'll be like, okay. Well, by the time they went back, I got on my phone and I filled out the registration online and had the registration done by the time they came back up to the window. And I was like, I've just done this, so it's here. He's like, okay, you don't need to come into the station then. So that was good. They were super nice. Our township police, I have to say, are super nice. I was pulled over because our plate was flaking last year. There were some defective plates made in Pennsylvania, and we got one of them, and we didn't realize how bad it had gotten. I think we had just gone through a we went through the car wash, and I think that's what made it actually worse. Now my mouse isn't working, which I don't know why. Computer's up, but the mouse isn't working. And I don't have anything to plug it in. That's interesting. Anyway, and so one police officer pulled me over today, and then a second one arrived at some point. Um, it made it look like I was some real bad criminal. They needed two police cars, but the police officer, both of them, super nice. Every time that it's happened, I've gotten warnings for certain things, and they are super nice. And it's good that they do the job that they do. And yeah, so it was a good experience. It was fine. It made me realize my registration was out, which was good that I had that realization. And just then I went on my way. But thankfully, I had left early enough that I made it to the post office on time to drop off packages because there were some I wanted to get out the door today. And thankfully, I made it with about 3 minutes to spare, um, even though I got pulled over along the way. Susan had a fun haha afternoon dealing with the phone company, about an hour and a half's worth of fun. Oh yeah. That's the phone company, let me tell you. Definitely not my idea of fun. Marion says, I got pulled over last week. I had to get a new plate for the car. See, that happened to us too, because our plate was defective. So, yeah, such a, so weird, right? Norma says, we get stickers too, and if we pay early, it still goes to the whole year. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if we pay early, it does not. Um, or maybe if it's we pay late. I don't know. I don't know. There's something about it though that I always try and pay right on the expiry, right when I need to. Yeah, it's so strange. Diane says, here in Florida, we get stickers. We can register for 1 or 2 years. Yeah, we have the option for 1 or 2 years too. I always do one because I don't like to spend all the money at once to do two, and it doesn't save you any money to do two. If it saved you a little bit, I'd consider it, but it doesn't really. It's just double the price. Um, and then I'd probably even be more um, uh, apt to forget if I did 2 years. Marion says, that's not my idea of fun, Susan, right? Can't bill for the use of my time or get my bill reduced. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. I know. I've been dealing with the phone company doing upgrades lately, but our biggest dealing with the phone company is when we switched over our plan a few years ago, and that was terrible. Terrible experience. I have not recommended AT&T to anybody else since then. I used to, like, anytime we were in, like, on a Facebook group, and people would say, how's AT&T in your area? And I would go beyond, above and beyond, speaking about how great AT&T is and how wonderful their service is and how we've never have problems. And then that happened. And since then, anytime those posts come up, I just go on by. I just let it go. I don't badmouth because generally we do have good service as far as reception goes and things like that. But the service over trying to get help, I will never, ever, ever recommend them unless somebody comes through and really redeems themselves someday. The salesperson, I will say, at our AT&T store, um, that I dealt with recently was very good. And if anyone's in the area and already on AT&T and you need help, I would definitely recommend them. But I do not point anyone to AT&T anymore, and it's really a shame because I've had them since 2009. I've had them since 2009. Um, and like I said, I used to speak very highly about service and customer service, and then I had to stop because it was not good. Norma says, I'm experimenting by making oatmeal scotchies, but using Heath toffee bits instead of butterscotch. Ooh, Heath toffee sounds good. Kimberly says, the soup is like a taco soup. I'm in the kitchen. Hubby is being loud. Didn't hear anything in the last few minutes. That's funny. Um, Marion says, my plate was just old. Yeah. I guess, like, as long as our plates are fine, like some people in Pennsylvania still have the old plates. They're a different color, they're a different, but apparently they're allowed to, I guess. I don't know. Um, maybe they just haven't been told or got caught or, but some people use the really old plate, but most people are on the regular plate, the blue background plate that we have now, but there were defective ones. So we had to turn in some plates. But old plates, that usually doesn't, that's not usually a thing here. Except if they do a major changeover. Um, mine was talking to me too, so I missed some comments, says Susan. Oh boy. Everybody's chit-chatting. Let's see here. I do 2 years because it saves a trip to the license bureau. We can do ours online, thankfully. Like I said, I did my registration right sitting in the car while I was being pulled over for that because it was really embarrassing. Normally, I'm pretty on top of that. And it really helped when Andrew was going on trips because I would always check the registrations before a trip um, for him in case something would happen. He'd get pulled over or he'd need help along the road. He would have the registration in the car and all that. Um, and so he hasn't been going the last few months, and that's when it expired a few months ago, which is not great, but that's what happens sometimes. Um, Marianne says we can do 1 or 2 years as well, but I do get a senior discount. I don't know if they offer senior discounts here. I don't know. Someday I'll know. Um, how do they know it was expired, says Susie. Apparently, as they were following me, um, they followed me for quite some time. And I was driving by where the township offices are. So I thought they were going to turn off there. And something in my mind was like, just pull over at Sheets or turn into the Dollar General and do some errands. And because I don't like to have police follow me, it makes me nervous, right? Because I'm anxious already. And so I'm always going the speed limit, but in the back of my mind I'm like, what if I just go a little too fast, or what if I accidentally. So I get very nervous and it makes my driving worse generally. So I was being very careful, but something in the back of my mind was telling me, like, just pull over at Dollar General, just go to Sheets. But I knew I had to get to the post office. So I was like, I'm fine. I'm driving fine. Those things you tell yourself, like, you are fine. You're driving fine. Everything's good. The license plate is good. Didn't even think about the registration. So apparently, as they were following me all this way, they just checked as they were following me. That's what I'm assuming because I did nothing that would merit anything else. They specifically said that is the reason. So I guess if the police officer is following you, there's a chance they're running your plate just in case. And that's what they did. So that's apparently how they knew. That's all I can figure. Um, Susan says that is our current vendor, AT&T. Yeah, good luck. I would like to wish you better, but I know at dealing with them on the phone, I've escalated things. We have a business line. You would think that we have a business line with, we have, I think, 9 devices um, on our business plan, including watches and iPads and phones. Between all of that, we have 9 or 10 lines that we cover and pay for. And you would think that that would give you a little bit, just a little bit of extra help. But in fact, does not. They don't care. I threatened to leave them, and they said, we can't help you anyway. Um, I didn't leave them because there's a very particular reason, and coverage is one of those reasons. That is the main reason. But now that coverage from some of the other vendors are getting better, it's one of those things. It's still in the back of my mind. It is still in the back of my mind how unhelpful they were years ago. Um, and so that is, and every time I go in, I expect it to be difficult now. And that's not fun. It's not fun when you have to go somewhere where you used to think, okay, I'm just going to go in and do this. It's going to be fine. And now you expect things to be difficult. So that's hard. And I hope you got it figured out, Susan, but I know I know how hard that is. Um, Hello, Danette. Thanks for joining us. Smoky Cat was doing his noisy kneading shtick. Now he's settling down. I hope he stays that way, right? Um, Susie says there's no senior discount here. See, I didn't think so. Um, and Marion says there's a database for vehicle registrations. Yeah, they can get into it, but I just assumed that because they were following me, that's the reason. They just decided to check, and they checked on the right person today. Uh, so hey, they're doing their job, keeping the roads safe. I have nothing, absolutely nothing against our police. I think they do a really awesome job. I think they are very kind. Um, and I have never had any issues with any of them. So, you know, there's a lot of things said about police officers, and there's a lot of expectations when you're on the political side that we are and how we think about police. But I think very highly of our police force, and um, my great uncle was a police officer, and I believe a chief of police by the time he left. Um, and um, I have nothing but respect for them. They always are very respectful and very nice, and they help keep things safe around here. Norma says, one of the reasons I stay with Verizon is they have a really great service center with fantastic people right up the street. I can easily pop in to resolve things in person. Yeah, that's nice. Um, I Our most local store is the one that I feel messed things up for us to begin with. Um, they got us onto a business plan because we were just on a personal plan before. And so we got there are perks that come with being on a business plan. There's more data for your money generally. Especially hotspot data which was a big deal for us, and still is, since we don't have internet at the store. But the that store being the most local store, I do not trust going into that store anymore. So our friend told us about the one in Johnstown that they've used and they always had good experiences with. And so far, they have been very good. Um, there have still been things that are unexplainable, literally unexplainable. Um, they couldn't upgrade one of our phones in the store just the other day. And they called, they had me speak to the person on the other line. The other person on the line says, literally, they're not giving us any reason why, but we cannot upgrade your phone today. I walked out into the parking lot. I logged into my website for our plan, and I upgraded it there. They cost that salesperson their commission on that, but I was able to upgrade it through the website without a problem when they could not do it over the phone or let the people in store do it. Um, so it's really, I do not have I don't have a great view of their system anymore for AT&T, but it when we don't have to mess with it, the service, I will say, is really, really good. Um, Anytime we need to make a change or have something done to the phone plan, I dread it. I dread it. Um, and so that's kind of where we are with that. But I'm glad you have something, Norma, right up the street. That's really nice. It's good to have that. And thankfully, when I'm at the store now, I can just pop over just a few miles drive, and go into that store and see if they can help me. None of the stores, the one of the issues is none of the stores around here, at least, I don't know if any do, but none around here have an actual business representative from the company there that can handle things. So anytime the people have a business plan that they need to work with, which is a lot up in Johnstown, because there are a lot of people who have business plans. Even a small business owner can have a business plan. Um, like us. And so they have no business reps, and the reps there have to call into the business services, and they have to wait on hold. There's no back door. I mean, there is kind of one, they say, but um, the guy I was with waited on hold for just about as long as I ever have. So um, they um, they have asked. They have said, please send us a business rep or teach me how to. He's like, I will learn. Teach me how to do it. Um, but they don't have one. So that makes it hard anytime they have to do things with a business plan. And then again, sometimes we call into corporate and they literally cannot tell us why they can't do something. That was my biggest thing. I kept escalating and escalating and escalating last um, a few years ago when we changed over because we had one issue um, and no one would tell me why they couldn't do it. They just kept telling me we can't do it. Um, and no one would tell me why. And when I went into the store this time, um, they were like, we've literally done that before. And it's like, I don't know why they couldn't do it for you. And I said, I don't know why either. The other store said they normally do too, but no one could help us. Anyway, enough about that, right? Um, let's see here. Marion says, at least 3 of my relatives were policemen. Yeah. Susan says, my Irish great grandfather was a cop. Hello, Suzanne. Susan says, dealing with AT&T was a nightmare. You have never seen me. Andrew's like, I have never seen you that angry at someone over the phone than you were speaking to them. Like I was shaking. Like it was bad. And I dread it to this day. Andrew says, I can tell your shoulders are getting tight thinking about it. I know, just talking about it. Um, probably need to stretch. I know I need to stretch, right? Yeah. So I'm sorry you had problems, Susan. But it is unfortunately generally a nightmare to try to deal with them and get even the simplest things done. Um, yeah, we were trying to, they actually cost uh, the guy 2 commissions because we were trying to upgrade a phone and a watch. And I went out in the parking lot and did the phone, and we're still making sure the phone's going to go through. So I have not gotten the watch yet because we've got a little bit of money set aside for that if we need to, because we're trying to get these on a payment plan. But if we can't, we're trying to work with that. And so look at that, just decided. Well, I think I'm back. Am I back? I don't know what button I hit on my phone too when everything went dark. Um, so yeah. Anyway, um, and maybe we'll be able to do it in store. But if I can upgrade online again, I'm just going to upgrade online because they couldn't help us in store. And so it cost one of their salespeople 2 different commissions, which is kind of sucky. Um, because he was really exceptionally helpful, and we were specifically trying to upgrade an extra thing to help him out and give him a commission because that was the only way that we could. He was getting no commission off of anything that he was doing for us up to this point. And I know they get paid for that, right? That's their job, but they're also on commission. So um, we were trying to help him out, and they were refusing to let us. Hello, Anne. Thanks for joining. We're critiquing our our various wireless vendors today. Um, anyway, that's that, right? Maybe we'll see if anybody else mentions it again. I go on a tirade about it again. Um, but yeah, so so I got pulled over today. I made it to the post office though. Um, and I got back. I don't know how we got there from there, but um, got pulled over. Okay, everything's okay. Did my registration. They said I don't have to come in and check, have them do any paperwork because I did it right there. He's like, you're fine then. And then got to the post office, made it back up to the cottage. And at that point, I was just working on a lot of sublimation stuff. And it was not going well. I don't know what was going on. Um, I was having problems with the sublimation stuff. First, the printer didn't want to print, it had dried out. Um, and um, that sometimes happens. So I had to do a deep clean of the printer, which uses a lot of ink. I hate to do it, but that's what happens. So I did that, and it was printing fine, okay then. And for some reason, my normal timing and temperatures were not working. And I don't know if it's because it's colder in the building now, or if it's drier in the building. I don't know why, but my sublimation was not working as well. So I was having issues with that, um, and uh, trying to work on those issues. And then I realized I was getting very close to the time where I need to get home to do the live. So I did get things done though. I got things made. I'm ready to put orders together and send some orders out with that stuff tomorrow. Andrew has to be up at the cottage early tomorrow because he is doing um, a Zoom recording. I don't actually know everything about it, um, but he is doing a panel discussion, I believe, on a Zoom recording. And I left my laptop up there, and it has the better camera. The home computer here has an older camera and things, so we're going to be up there and do that. Um, so we got to go up there early, which is going to get me up there early because we have our afternoon live tomorrow. Don't forget, the live is tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time before pottery class. So I'll have time to get things done up there and put orders together and ship them out, hopefully before my live tomorrow and the pottery class tomorrow. It's a busy week. It's a busy week. Susan says, a few years ago, I locked myself out of our account. I had another nightmare trying to get it unlocked. And I remember once they wouldn't deal with me because I didn't set up the account. That's a big thing. So I set up our account. Our account is literally in my name and the business name, Allegory Gallery. Literally, I am the owner of the account. We had Andrew on a separate plan because they wouldn't move him over to the account when we set up this business plan. That was the big issue. We still had one person we couldn't move over to the account, and it was Andrew. And um, he had to be on his own line for years because they wouldn't move him over. And finally, we got him moved over. But my name was on his account too because it was still we still write off part of it because he does business on it. Can't write it all off because he uses it for personal things, but we use a percentage of that and write that off. And so I put my name on the account to make everything easier. And he, my name is on both of those accounts. They needed me to send myself, I had to send myself the okay that I was okay with moving this account to my own account, moving my account to my account. And then I had to sign myself up as the owner of the business account, even though I was the owner of the business account. I had to sign another thing and go through another thing while they were on the phone to put myself in as owner of the business account again. It's very strange. Um, Diane says, I have T-Mobile and it's still a pay as you go. I'm grandfathered in and it costs me 15 bucks a month. I've had them for 20 years. I have been looking at T-Mobile because it would be a lot cheaper than what we're paying now. Um, but we have one person um, on the plan that um, is often in the middle, almost in the middle of nowhere. And I don't know if T-Mobile covers. We don't have anyone in the family that can test really to see if T-Mobile covers where they are. They used to give you a loaner phone back in the day. If you were considering switching, they would give you a loaner phone with like 30 days to test your service. And I don't think they do that anymore. Tell me if I'm wrong, because I'd like to know. But we need to be able to figure out somehow if T-Mobile is in their area. It says it is on the maps, but all the maps say they are for them. And she has to still stand, even with AT&T, which was the best service for her at one point. She has to stand in like one part of her house to make calls. It's ridiculous. Susan says for that issue, they would only deal with my husband. It's ridiculous. I mean, I get why they do some things, but others, right? Um, Anne says, my sisters and I are putting ourselves in all our parents' accounts as they age. We don't want to need help. We don't want to need to help them, and the vendor says no to us since we didn't set up the accounts. Yeah, that's my mom and aunt are on our plan. They were easy to move over. Um, and so it makes it a lot easier to have everything supposedly under our names. Andrews is probably best not to think about it, right? I know. Anne says, I always tell my parents if I have to, I'll play the age card. My dad is 90 and can't do it. We always laugh about it, but it's true. My dad has dementia and can't hear very well. That's, that's unfortunately a thing that sometimes you got to do the age card and see if that works. And sometimes that works, and sometimes you get a stickler that won't help you even then. Suzanne says, we have T-Mobile. Yeah, I've been thinking about T-Mobile. They offer really good deals. Their phone, it's much cheaper than what we would be paying. Um, even even with the things that we have. So we might look into that. Susan says, I was lucky when my late dad had issues with his phone. They just tested it while I was at my own home without going through all the hoops. That's good. That's good. Yeah, so we have a busy week. It's a lot going on here. Um, we got our voltage converter in the mail today. Um, uh, my mom wanted to make sure she got us one to make sure that when we moved, when we went to Italy, even though we should just need a adapter, because most iPhones and Mac laptops and things, iPads, say that they work on dual things. She wanted to make sure we had a converter just to make sure. So we have a converter that came in the mail today. So that's one more thing off the list. Um, Andrew's compression socks came. Mine had come before his came. He tested those; they fit. So that's another thing off the list. It's just all these kind of things. I've got to stock up on cat food, um, uh, so that uh, the people watching our cats are Susie's going to help us, and my mom's going to help. We appreciate that so much. Got to make sure that cat food is stocked for the cats. My mom gave us a gift card to help with that a little bit. And so that's nice. And we're just trying to get things together and do all the normal things we do and still plan for all of this. Ann says, I switched from AT&T to Cricket since it is cheaper and they use the same network. AT&T owns Cricket. Yeah, I think um, there are some of those plans that could be cheaper. Um, but sometimes once you get up to a certain number of lines, I don't think they quite work as well, or they don't allow you to do it. And we do have on ours, like we could split up the family plan and not have everybody on the family on the plan. But it just makes it easy to pay one bill and not have each person have to pay almost $150 by themselves, because that's $100 to $150 is about what a single line is. It's ridiculous. So we try and help everybody save money by having a full plan. Oops, let's see here. Whoa. So says, Anne, I didn't know that about Cricket. Yeah, check them out. Andrew says, what does Kimberly have? I know Kimberly's internet is Starlink, but I don't know what cell service. But my aunt was looking at getting Starlink, and then there's a lot in that decision right now for a lot of people. So she hasn't gone yet to do that, but she has pretty much no internet other than her hotspot, which is another reason why hotspot was important for us. And getting the business plan was a little bit more, it gave you like 10 extra gigs of hotspot, which was nice. But she also has her own um, hotspot device, which she could barely get because she's on a different phone plan that's technically mine, and they almost didn't let her get her own hotspot. Um, it's ridiculous. She had to go around and around and around. She's like, I almost brought you in just to add the hotspot to the phone plan, but she was just trying to get her own hotspot on her own plan. But because her phone was already on the other plan, they almost wouldn't give it to her. I just found this out this year, and she's had it for a while now. Um, Kimberly says, I have Starlink internet and Verizon on my phone. Yeah, so that's all the crazy stuff going on, right? Well, anyway, Susan, out of that whole conversation, I'm so glad um, that I hope you got things sorted. I know it's not fun. Marion says, that's a lot for a single line. Mine is about 92 US dollars. Yeah, that's like $100. That's a lot for one line of service. Um, once we have everything on the family plan, when you break it down, we have 3 watches, 2 iPads, and 5. Yeah, I think 3 watches, 2 iPads, and 5 phones on our plan. And I'm not going to say what we spend, but it's a lot less than $92 each. Um, so that's nice. That's nice. But it could be even less with another service if we could get it. So we'll see. But yeah, that's that. I don't know what we're gonna have for dinner. Last night, Andrew made the dinner. I was going to make dinner last night. I was talking about that. We were gonna make tater tots and onions and eggs, and we had exactly that. But Andrew made it instead of me. Um, and so that was delightful for me. But because I was up here for quite a while doing some work after the live, doing the spreadsheets, packing everything, sorting everything. Those little charms took a while to sort out. So he started dinner, which was really nice, and I appreciate that a lot. So I don't know what we're gonna have tonight, though. I didn't really pick up anything for dinner. We still have tater tots and eggs. Um, so it might be a repeat. He's also he said he's gonna make cinnamon rolls. So homemade cinnamon rolls. I saw the dough was sitting on the counter today, proving, proving. Um, so he's planning that. Anderson cinnamon rolls. It's cinnamon rolls for dinner, right? Um, yeah, I'm okay with tater tots again. I love tater tots. So and I was gonna make potatoes last night, and Andrew's the one that suggested the tater tots, so I was happy about that. He's not usually one to suggest tater tots, so I'm fine with tater tots again. We still have, I think, half the bag of the tater tots. I got the big bag. Um, that's all they had. And so we still have that and cheese and ketchup and eggs, and we could still almost make, I don't think we have an onion, but we can make almost the same thing again. We also have ramen. I bought some ramen packs last night because I was craving ramen. Um, so we could also have ramen tonight, maybe. In addition to the cinnamon rolls. Marianne says I had the rest of my Shanghai noodle dish for my main meal. Nice. That sounded really good. I'm glad you had it multiple days because that sounded really good. So my computer, um, apparently my mouse battery is empty. Um, it's weird to see it say mouse battery empty. I don't think of a battery as empty. But that's the verbiage they use on the computer. Mouse battery empty. Um, so I have nothing to plug it in with up here. So I have the computer, and luckily, um, the email is up, and I can use the keyboard. So I can still see if things are selling. um, yeah. So that's where we are. The computer's finally up, which is nice. Marion says, growing up on bread baking day, Monday, we had soup and cinnamon rolls. Nice. Soup does sound good. It was pretty nice today. I don't know if I said I went out with the cats today, and Tallulah was being so naughty. So not like yesterday she was naughty, but she remembered from yesterday. She loves so there are a few little trees and bushes that are losing their leaves in our front yard and the neighbor's front yard. Our front yard is tiny. It's like this big because our house sits right up to the road, up to the sidewalk. Well, the leaves, whatever it is right there, there's like this vortex of wind, and it's blowing the leaves around on the sidewalk and on the road. And she insists on running up to the front yard and chasing those leaves. And so I would pick her up and bring her back to the backyard, and she would play in the backyard for a little bit with us, and then she would go running all of a sudden up to the front yard to chase, like it was stuck in her head. Um, and one time she ran out very close to the road, and I was like, "That's it." I had to put her in the house, so she got put in the house today, while all the other cats, well, Gilbert went in the house too, but all the other cats got to play outside. And then I brought her out a little bit again, seeing if she learned her lesson, and she did not. She still tried to run up to the front. So I brought her back and I pulled like an old it was an echinacea plant. When the echinacea die, they leave these really long stems that are pretty thick, and they have that little bulb on the top of seeds, where the big cone of part of the cone flower was. Um, and I picked one of those and I started running it in the yard, like just playing like a toy. And they went wild for it. And that kept Tallulah in the backyard with us for a long time because she ran after that little echinacea stick for a long, she was panting so heavy. It was so cute. Um, and even Barnaby got in on the playtime, so he was playing with the stick, and Gertie and Tallulah, they were all playing. Gilbert wanted nothing much to do with the stick. Normally he likes playing like that on the stairs, but outside makes him too nervous. He went in and back out about 5 times today. He got nervous and went in, and then I'd check on him and he'd come back out, and then he'd get nervous and go back in. There were a lot of noises. People were cleaning up yards and doing things around. So he gets nervous. Um, and Norma says, I saw your video of Tallulah heading for the front yard. Yes, I posted that today. Um, and I was trying to throw the leaves like back, and the wind kept pushing the leaves. Like at one point I threw the leaf up and it like landed almost on her. That was, I was trying to throw the leaf behind so she'd run back to the backyard, but the wind did keep pushing it to the front yard. Uh, am I back? I think I'm back. I think I'm back. Hello everybody. Um that was somebody tried to call me. Somebody tried to call and it blanked out my whole screen. Normally I have the do not disturb on, and my do not disturb was not on. I think um I have this new action button on the new phone, and um the action button used to just be the silence button, but my phone is always on silent, so it didn't really do much. And now I have an action button, and I've programmed that action to be the do not disturb button. Um, but I must have turned it off accidentally, probably in twisting my phone around here when the phone switched. Um, yeah, so that was it was my mom calling. I hope everything's okay. Um, but I sent her a thing earlier. Our van has started to make a noise, and I sent her a thing a voice note of the noise to say, what does this sound like to you? So I'm guessing she's probably calling, not realizing that I'm on the live now. So that was her, and it came through because I'm not on Do Not Disturb. And as soon as a call comes through, apparently it takes your video away. Even when you decline the call, it takes your video away. So I had to wait until the call ended, or her trying to call ended, until it sent it to voicemail, probably. But I didn't want to pick up because I'm live, and I think that's all that it was. She hasn't texted me that I can see a text. So if there was something wrong, she would text me first and then call after. My guess is she could have also butt dialed me because I just sent her a message. Anyway, we're back. May is here. Hello. Thanks for joining us. Glad you could be here today. So yeah, wow, what a busy day. Cats were outside, lots of running around, getting pulled over by the police. So much going on. Hopefully tomorrow's a little quieter. But we have Andrew's thing tomorrow. He has a panel discussion he's going to be on. Andrew said, Ida Bell's wanting to help me with the cinnamon rolls. That's cute. Ida Bell's very good outside today. She was a very, very good girl. She did not try to do anything wild. She did not make me nervous. Tallulah was the one that made me nervous. Gertie was a very good girl too. Barnaby, little bit of a stinker, but he usually is. He always tries to test, not always, but very often, Barnaby tries to test the limits of the boundaries of the yard. And so today he was, I think because Tallulah was doing it, he was doing it a little bit too. And not bad, but he likes to go down into our neighbor Beth's yard a little bit sometimes. And I try and make sure he doesn't do that too much. And he loves to go in the back where our driveway is and the alleyway, and it's much less used, but I still don't like him very close to the road there, just in case, because if I'm up trying to grab Tallulah in the front and he's in the back, it's a very far spread. I mean, it's a lot, a size of a city lot, but it's a far spread to me in case a car came to try and grab him, so, or to grab her, either way. So I try and keep everybody as together as I can. He says I need to go back and watch the police. Yeah, I got pulled over because a police officer was following me, and I guess just as probably as a normal thing that they do when they're following someone, they just check a plate, and my vehicle registration was expired, and I didn't know it. So they were very nice, just gave me a warning. Let's see. Andrew says, I wanted to make cinnamon rolls because I was listening to Legends and Lattes. Nice. I'm always okay with the cinnamon roll. I used to not like cinnamon rolls because I got sick on them at one point. Actually, I think it was cinnamon pretzels. I got kind of sick on at one point, the Annie Ann's pretzels. And for a very long time, I could not eat. No, it was Cinnabons. I don't know if they even still exist. Cinnabon. We had picked up Cinnabons, and I ate too many, or I got sick after them. Something happened, and for a long time, I could not eat cinnamon with the icing. I used to love it, but for a long time, I couldn't do it. And thankfully, that I have been restored. So now I love cinnamon rolls again. Susan says she can knead the dough, right? That's right. Suzanne says cinnamon, says Barnaby, is perfect. I know. It can do no wrong, right? Pretty much. He's a good boy. He's my buddy. Maybelline says, okay, that happened to me many, many years ago. Andrew says, don't worry, I'll have yours. No, I can eat them now. It's okay. Yeah, May. That's never happened to me, but the police officer was following me, and something in my head was saying, just pull over to the sheets. Or, I get very nervous. I drive worse when a police officer is following me. I think that happens to a lot of people. You just get self-conscious of your driving. Um, and so something was just saying, just pull over in a place where it's going to be. And then something else was telling me, no, you're fine. You can do this. Let's beat the anxiety. I was literally in my head, like, beat your anxiety. Stay in front of the police officer. And then I get pulled over. But the lesson there is nothing bad came of it. And I learned that my registration needed to be renewed, and I renewed it. And so all is well. All is well. Um, Andrew said Barnaby is crashed out in front of the heater. That's cute. He has been. He went into bed with me last night, and for a while he would not go in the bed. We have a an oil heater, one of those radiator like oil heaters, portable ones that we keep in the bedroom, and I had that on a little bit last night, and he was curled up around that heater. And then finally, I put my phone down and got myself into the bed more. I was kind of reading on my phone for a while. And once I did that, then he finally came up and sat with me, and I covered him up, keep him warm. He loves to be super warm, though. He's always finding sunspots in the house, laying in front of the heaters if the heater's on, or curling up in front of the heater. Um, yeah. Andrew said he was trying to steal the citrine. What? Barnaby? He's not usually a thief. Andrew says, I tried to take a video and he dropped them and acted like he was cleaning himself. Oh boy. The girls have him all acting up today. Acting up. Anyway, let's get this show started. How about it, everybody? I've been talking enough, and the mouse isn't going to get any energy by sitting here, right? Suzanne says cinnamon like citrine. Um, nice. See, stealing it for cinnamon. Andrew says apparently Tallulah is rubbing off on him. Yeah, Tallulah likes to steal those colors, those golden yellow colors. Her whole stash at one point used to be mainly that color in nice gemstones and S-word crystal, usually the blingy bling. But yeah, for some reason, I've never seen Barnaby stealing beads before. That's unusual. Must be getting them for cinnamon. Talking about these cinnamon rolls, maybe he thinks Cinnamon's coming for a visit, so I'm gonna get her something. Marion says a cat where my dad worked liked to sleep under an overhead heater in the shop. It was very hot. Yeah, Barnaby loves the heat. Gilbert does too, but Barnaby definitely loves the heat. He wants to be hot. Um, Cats were originally desert animals. That makes sense for Barnaby anyway. Some of our cats, when they get really hot in the summer and stuff, they just kind of lounge around and don't do much. But Barnaby loves to be warm. He'll go out in the sun, find a sunspot, even in summer. He does not like to be cold. Let's flip the camera around, and um, let's let's look at some stuff today. I have, I think, 40 lots I think I picked. We'll see if we do all 40 or not, what we do here today. Let me turn on the lights so we get a little bit more illumination going here. All right. I can't check the computer to see what letters we've used. So I'm going to use WIL, William, because I don't think I've ever used that before. So it's going to be WIL lots tonight. And Andrew says, what happened to the driftwood? Which driftwood, Andrew? Which driftwood? And the penny. Oh, up here? There, I think the driftwood is, I think there's a piece downstairs in that cabinet that Gilbert always likes to scratch, where I put the material for the laser for the window. I think there's a piece of driftwood and one of these African cloths in there. I do have a penny though. I do have the penny. Penny is there. Um, that's going to be very worth something someday. They more and more stores here in the US, because they've stopped manufacturing, they've stopped minting the penny. Um, so uh our Sheets convenience store, they are asking to pay in exact change or by tap or card, because they can't get pennies anymore. And I just saw the same notice at, I think it was Dollar General today, that they're asking people to pay in, no, Giant Eagle. Dollar General, I think, doesn't, and Giant Eagle, our grocery store, they're asking for people if they can pay an exact change, because they can't get access to pennies anymore either. They're not minting them. The banks aren't supplying them or aren't able to supply them. So the pennies that are in circulation. But um, yeah, it's going to be interesting, because tax makes a lot of things come out in less than, 5 cents, or between 0 to 5 and 5 to 10. Um, all those numbers that need pennies to make happen. But there are no pennies being made. I used to put a piece of driftwood to color correct. I know we have this, but I don't think it's big enough that it really works. But I think that driftwood is downstairs, or maybe at the store. Um, Andrew says, apparently, if you pay in pennies, you'll get double the value. Oh, really? Oh, no. Usually, when a country stops minting a penny, it is no longer legal. I'm guessing meant tender, render. Um, Tender, yeah. Yeah, we can still apparently use pennies. I don't think they have a choice. If you want to pay with cash, there's no other way but to give pennies. Um, because people are not rounding, stores are not rounding yet. Um, I don't actually know what people are going to do, because stores haven't figured out the pricing that the extra tax amount here makes the numbers not need pennies, not necessitate pennies. I know they want to move everyone over to um, cards and stuff, but um, some people refuse. Many people around here, actually, many people prefer to pay in cash around here. It's a big thing around this area, and um, yeah. Anyway, that's a big thing. Um, let's see. Let's start. Let's start. Let's start the show. Um, you all know how to do this. I don't see anyone new here, but just in case there are, um, take down the lot number if you see something you like. WIL lot numbers today. I'll put the price here. For example, this one is going to be $8, and there's one of them available. Take down that lot number, put it in the subject line of an email, send that email to info@allegorygallery.com. That's all you have to do. Send a new email. Send a new email each time. Please don't reply to an old email to send a new one that doesn't work out right. And if you do send an email, you're promising to take it if you get it. Everything is first come, first serve. Diane says, I already use a card, just easier. Yeah, we are. I very rarely pay cash for anything, because it's easier for me to have a transaction on a card to categorize things, especially for the business. But I pay a lot with tap. I very rarely, I shouldn't say I very rarely carry my wallet. When the police pulled me over, I didn't have my wallet today. Thankfully, they looked me up. I didn't have my driver's license, because I was just running to the post office from work, and I ran out without it. But yeah, I use tap for everything. Um, when I can. And the next option, if I can't use tap on my phone, I use my phone's tap. So I use Apple Pay for everything if I can. The next option, if I can't, I use a card. And then sometimes I have cash. Most of the time, I don't even have any cash on me. I don't carry cash generally. Um, okay, first up, crystal. Beautiful crystal. Um, Andrew says, put the beads on the table. I know, I know. Beautiful crystal drop. And this is $8, WIL1. I know I got my, trying to take my fingerprints off of it. Suzanne says, I carry cash if I'm getting a tattoo. Andrew said, this is an S word crystal. One of these available, and it is 13.5 by 29.5 millimeters. One available, $8. Maybelline says, a lot of stores near me are only credit card. Yeah, that doesn't generally happen here. We're still in a pretty I'll just say we're in an area where most people would have an issue if things went only credit card. Most people want to have the option to pay in cash with their cash. Um, Now, the nice thing about that is a lot of people do it because they know that some of the small businesses around here get extra credit card fees. And some businesses tack on those fees because you're allowed now, but many do not because they don't want to pass that on. Um, like we don't add that fee to our credit card processing. Um, but yeah, it would be a big, I think people would have they probably hear a lot of talk back if they went credit card only in a lot of places around here. Teresa says that's beautiful, isn't it? Marion says very rarely use cash either. Anne says, I was so shocked quite a few years ago, the first time I went into a no cash store. It was in NYC. Yeah, that happens sometimes. This was 14. I'll take it down to 12. There's one of these. This is a Harry Wood original. And says I also rarely have cash, right? This is a Harry Wood original raku piece. This is a beautiful pendant, ceramic pendant with the cat impression down below. With this beautiful glaze, metallic glaze. One available, WIL2, $12. Let's see here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 24. I've got 24 of those. We were doing them $2 for 10. Let's just do them 4 for everything. $4 for these buttons. These are vintage plastic button. Super cute. 2 holes. You get all of them, 24 of them, for $4. WIL3. And size on these is approximately 17.5 by 16.5. Susan says the movie theater we prefer doesn't take cash anymore. That's interesting. May says the Apple Watch is very convenient for purchases. I was resisting it for a while, but it beats opening my purse to get out the card. Yeah, when I pay with my Apple Watch, it's happening a little less often around here, but people are still amazed. It's still one of those things like we're still in an area that paying with your Apple Watch is a big deal. People do not see it very often. I even have people, a lot of people have an Apple Watch, but a lot of people who even store clerks, they're like, oh, wow. They're like, I have an Apple Watch, but I've never set that up before. It is so nice. Um, it does make things a lot easier, especially if you have things in your hands. and you're just trying to really quick pay, you don't have to reach into your pockets, you don't have to get out your card, you don't have to get out your phone, just tap and go. Let's see. Susan says, I rarely use cash anyway since the pandemic. Yeah. Teresa says $4. Yes. $4 for the whole lot of those buttons. Marianne says nice buttons. Andrew says there are places that only do cash that only do cash only here. Like some of the food places. Yeah, there are some that only do cash only. There's more of that than that do just credit card only, for sure. If we went to credit card only, a lot of people around here, I think, would have an issue with that. I mean, sooner or later it's probably going to happen, but you know, these were 6. I'll make them 5. Can't go lower than that. These are really nice. So these are the metal rounds. Beautiful. Nice large holes in those. Hollow. They are approximately 21 by 23. There are 2 of them available, $5 each. Here, let me make that more clear. $5 each. Anderson, the Amish folks are cash only in the ice cream stands. Yeah. So a lot of those places like that, the pop-up stands and stuff around here, they do cash only, especially the Amish, Mennonite. They don't use the square technology and all that. They take cash only. Marion says I mostly use a debit card. We do too. We try and do that a lot. The buttons remind me of the folk symbols, great for Valentine's Day, right? We've just sold both of those. Thank you so much. And put those away. Broke the seal. Made a sale. Thank you. We appreciate that. We're going to be away for the 2 weeks we're in Italy, and we're not going to be selling things, most likely, unless we do find things and we decide to do lives from Italy. You never know. It's going to be a weird time figuring out the time change and figuring out when that's going to happen. But Andrew definitely wants to shop the markets and see if we find anything like that. And so this was 48. I'm gonna drop it to 30. This is blue chalcedony, faceted stones. Oh, we just sold number 1. Thank you so much. Let me put that one away. Appreciate that. What did I do with the bag for that? It's over here. And so we're trying to use these lives to make the money that we're going to need to be in Italy without having to, for one, to pay for like our food in Italy, food and drink. You gotta eat, you gotta drink, and also pay the bills while we're away because we don't know what kind of what we might be able to do. If we find things at markets, we're of course going to probably show them off and maybe try to sell them. If we can't do lives, at least in the online store, but we'll see. So we're trying to use this money now to save up for that portion of everything. So we have some money to, eat with. That'll be nice. Can't go to Italy and not eat, right? I'm trying to eat well. So this is blue chalcedony for when Mercury goes retrograde. These are great to have, but these are really beautiful stones. They have we had some of these the other day that had some of the matrix and a little bit more of the matrix. These have a little less of the matrix to them and more of the blue chalcedony stone. So these are really pretty faceted stones. They were 48, giving you that great deal of $30 for that strand. Let me just measure one of these for you. I'll just pick one. They're about 19 and a half by 27. $30. Taking $18 off of that for you. Anna's here. Hello, Anna says, just here lurking. Thanks for lurking. May says, many years ago, I stumbled upon vintage markets just walking around Venice and Rome. Hopefully you find some on your trip. Yes, we are hoping to. You never know what you're going to find. Mercury going retrograde is coming soon, says Andrew. Oh no. I had a feeling it was coming soon. Not looking forward to that. Sorry, just taking a drink. I've not been drinking enough lately. The transition into colder weather always makes me slow down my drinking, and I'm definitely getting a little bit dehydrated. Andrew says, I think it's while we're away. Oh, great. Things that can go wrong. We had this at $8. I didn't even mark that on there. Just bring it down to $6. Yeah, Anne said, Anna, Lennis was featuring some of your components on the Creative Make-Along last Friday and making some really cute earrings. Yes, she did. We were hoping you'd join the Creative Make-Along, but we didn't see you there. May's asking, will you be able to go to Murano? We haven't decided where all we're going yet. We definitely both have been talking about Venice for sure. We want to see Venice. This is a whole bunch of beautiful stones and glass, some like lamp work, and then these bright orange and purple, beautiful dyed stones. Just a nice little thing, little grouping of them. You get the whole group of them for $6 now instead of 8. Here, I'll put it over here. I forgot to do that. Was 8, now 6. One available. Susan says, oh, I'd love to go to Murano. Norma says, I've always wanted to go to Murano. We'll see. I don't know what all we're going to do. I can't remember where Murano is. I think it's pretty far from where we're going to be, though. I don't know if it'll be day trippable or not. Teresa says, texted you about the buttons. I think they were Harry's. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I can't look on my computer right now. Murano is in Venice. Oh, is it? I don't know why I was thinking it was southern. Teresa, email us. I can look at emails right now. I can't do anything about any kind of other texting. Texted you about the buttons. I think they were Harry's. I don't know what you're talking about. Anna says, oh, that's great. I am looking at a bunch of car repair stuff for winter and trying to avoid temptation. I see. That's why you should just come to the Creative Make-Along. We don't sell anything there. It's all just to hang out. And make stuff together. It's our day off from selling. WIL7, these were 24 down to $16 today for y'all. These are beautiful carnelian nuggets, vintage carnelian nuggets. Beautiful little nuggety goodnesses. May says I have a Murano glass ring. I think it's authentic, right? It's hard to tell sometimes, right? Saw the Creative Make-Along after it happened. See, that happens. It happens on the next to last Friday of every single month. So put it in your calendar right now, and then you don't have to worry about seeing it after it happens. It's the next to last Friday of every month. And it's also on Facebook. If you're all on Facebook, under our events tab, you can sign up for the events and make sure you got the right date. They're all entered there for the whole year. We did that back at the beginning of the year. That way nobody misses out. We hate when people miss out. These are approximately 15 millimeters long by about 10.5 millimeters, something in there. That's that one anyway. And these are really pretty, really nice carnelian. Let's see here. Murano's half a day trip from Venice proper by boat, worth a visit. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if we can do it or not. And says, I always forget, but thank you for the emails. That reminds me right in time for the make-alongs. Yeah, if you're on our email list, I do send out the email that day. Usually that day, usually just a few hours before, to try and remind people too. Sometimes a text message if you're on our text message list. But not always the text messages. I have 6 of these. They were today, let's bring them down to $5 each. They were $6 each. $5 each. These hand-carved bone pendants. They're carved and dyed bone. And they're really cool. Flat on the back and then faceted to the front. And they're nice, pointy, kind of dagger-like pendant. They were $6 each. Bring them down to $5 each. We've never done them below $6. So this is a little extra treat. 21.5 by about 61 millimeters. We've got 6 of those available at that price. Oh no, life is sucking the life out of Annis. Has not been inspired to make anything recently. Oh no, that's no good. That's also when it is nice to hang out with friends. Because then you can, then you can hang out. Where are all my bags going? I had a bag for this. Where did that go? Oh, fell on the floor. We just sold 1 of the 8s. Thank you so much. There are 5 of them left. I'm going to put 2 away to make some room. It is still available, however, Harry's pendant. And I'm going to put 3 away as well. That's all of these buttons for only $4. Still available. Nobody has grabbed these yet. Just claim by email. Send us an email to info@allegorygallery.com, for example, with WIL3 in the subject line. That's the way you claim. It's the only way you can claim. WIL3. Surprising. Nobody went 24 buttons for $4. I think that's a really good deal. Let's see here. Kimberly says, love that. And says, sorry to hear that, Anna. Hoping for better days. I know, right? The ferry is supposed to take 20 minutes from Venice to Murano and cost €11. I've been checking, LOL. Good. That'll be nice. And it says, interesting tidbit from my life this week. Real fire in the building at work yesterday. Microwave on 5th floor went poof. We spent an hour and a half outside before they let us go home. Oh my goodness. And this is the whole building closed except the first floor where I work. My luck. Oh my. Did you get to go home at least? Even though your floor wasn't closed? That's weird that they would not close the first floor. Okay, all of these items are still available in some quantity. WIL9. I hear a cat outside crying. I don't know who that is, but they sound a little bit pathetic. I don't know what's happening. 14 of these. They're $1 each. And we just sold another 2 of the 8s. Thank you so much. It's Tallulah. She sounds like she's having issues. It doesn't sound like her normalness. She's got to go home on Monday. She's running around with her blue mousie. That's cute. She has this little blue mousie that we've had forever, and she's claimed it as hers. And she runs around crying with it. Excuse me. Normally, she's sounding a little bit haggard, like she's been smoking today. I don't know why. Um, she has a very deep voice today. But these are these little beautiful hand painted Chinese ceramic beads, and they're $1 each. And we have 14 of them. Thank you, Suzanne. Says bless you. Love seeing the photos of Gertie and Ida Bell, says Anna. Yeah, I was posting photos today on my stories. There was Tallulah and Barnaby rolling around, both of them rolling around, and then photos, because they're hard to get action shots of the girls, of Tallulah, I'm sorry, of Ida Bell and Gertie. We just sold another one of the 8s, so there are only 2 of those left. Thank you so much, everybody. She tries out different voices, says Andrew. She sure does. WIL 10. It's very random here today, right? I told you it was a random day. We've offered this at 20 before because that's what it normally was. I have 1 left, so I'm going to kick the price down for y'all. This is a beautiful strand of check glass. You can see 20. That's what we sell them in the store for. This is from the store. And that's the normal price. That's our tag. And they're $20, but we'll do them this 1 strand. I've got 1 left. $16 for y'all for these beautiful butterflies. They're table cut, and then they've got the finish on the outsides and inside on the butterflies. Pressed in there with the butterfly design, but table cut around the edges. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 beads for $16. These were expensive to bring in, and that's why. But we're giving you a deal. $16 today on those. Norma says Pepper makes the same cry when she carries her toy that she does when she's about to start the cat barf. So it's always fun to see which is happening. That's funny. Yeah, we all know that. We all know that sound, don't we? If we have cats. I'm gonna put WIL 5 away, and these are these beautiful blue Chalcedony. Nobody's grabbed them. They're beautiful stones. Still 1 strand available only. Was $48. These are a high quality strand, down to $30. Don't let our prices fool you when we take a discount. When we give you a discount, these are nice high quality strands. We're just giving you a deal. Don't think the quality is any less. We just like to give you deals sometimes. Oh, we sold 10. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. I will put that away so everybody knows that is sold out. How's everybody else doing today? I talked a lot about my day. Some of us were commiserating. How's everyone else doing? If you didn't say anything, I'm gonna put this away too because it's hard to move around. Nobody's a taker on this bundle of beads. I keep trying to reduce the price. I think it's pretty. Andrew put that together once upon a time. Little mix, mini mix. Pretty color palette with the violet and orange, right? I think you did a good job on that. He probably forgets he put that together. It is pretty. WIL7. He doesn't usually compliment himself. That's why I said he probably forgot he put that together. WIL9. All right. I don't know what stone this is, but you get this little lot of carved stone. WIL11. That's what we're on, right? 11? Yeah. For $5. Let's see. Anne says Moo Kitty could wake me from a sound sleep with her cat barf noise. Daniel Tiger appears to be silent when he does it. I don't think any of our cats are silent when they do it. Barnaby, especially, he throws up a lot because he goes out and eats grass a lot. Yesterday he ate a lot of grass and then came in and went all over and like projectiled it across the floor. Luckily, he was on. We put puppy pads near the litter boxes, and he shot all over that. But everyone is loud in this house when they do that. Diane says, took the car to the shop today. The AC quit. Need to watch my pennies. Oh, I get it. We get it. Our car, as I said, my mom is calling me probably because our car, I sent her a thing of our car making noise. I have no idea what's going on. It sounds like a belt of some sort. So I'm going to have to see, maybe stop down and have my dad look at it. Thankfully, my dad knows about cars, and we can usually get help doing things ourselves, which makes the cost a lot less. AC, there's not much you can do. You got to take that in to get that done. But he helps us with our brakes, and we've done multiple brake changes before, and calipers, and even I guess tie rods. I don't know if they're still called tie rods. Um, and sway bars. He's helped us with a lot of things to help us save money. Anna says, did you pick will letters today to stand for something? No. I picked them because I've never used them, and I'm pretty sure I didn't, because I would have remembered probably using like my first few letters of my name. My computer, the mouse is dead. The computer died, and the mouse, when I started it up, it takes like 30 minutes. So the first 30 minutes of this video is the computer starting up while I'm chatting. And the mouse, when it did finally start up, it finally told me the mouse is also dead. So I can't actually use my mouse. Thankfully, I can use the keyboard to navigate the email to let people know if things are selling. This has just sold, by the way. Thank you so much. But I picked WIL because I couldn't check to see what letters were taken that we've already used, and I was just pretty certain I've never used those. So that's why I picked those today. It used to be that we'd pick them that they made sense for the night, like what we were doing, but we started running out of combinations that we haven't already used. So now we just pick random letters most of the time. Sometimes there's some meaning behind it. Dan says those beads look like the stone that the Mexican animals are carved from. Possibly. I don't know what they are or why, what they're made out of, but they're really pretty stones. I thought they were glass at first. Boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18. These were 75 cents each. That would make them $13.50 a strand, or for all of them. We're not going to charge you that. Let's do it at $8. $8, vintage check glass. These are really cool. I don't know. My black light isn't here. I don't know where my. Oh, there it is. They do not glow. I didn't think they glowed, but I wanted to check. They do not glow. Um. Okay. My mom thinks it's a belt too. So that's. I just got a text message from her. So it's probably a belt on our car that is going. She's like, you probably want to be careful how much you run it until we check. She's going to be talking to my dad. She can't get a hold of him right now, but we're going to talk to him. And I can give him a call too. It started doing in the cold weather, so I thought it was just a cold weather thing, but it seems to be doing it a little bit more and more. Okay, these were 45. I'm gonna put them down to 30. I think we've only got one of these left. And it says, I'm sorry, computer stuff is no fun either. It's just the mouse that needs to be charged, but I don't have the charging cable here. Andrew said that looks like alabaster. That makes sense. This is a beautiful amber necklace. It's done up on stretchy, but you will want to restring this. We're selling it just as a strand, not as a finished piece. But it's beautiful amber chips. This is real amber. And you get the whole strand, which is I don't know why, but my ruler is always 100% of the time the opposite side that I always need. If I need the millimeters, the inches are up. If I need inches, the millimeters are up. I don't know how that happens. This is an 18-inch strand of beautiful, nice grade amber chips. Was $45, now $30 for the whole strand. Sandra's here. Hello, Sandra. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, thankfully the computer issue is not really an issue. It's just that I don't have the charging cable here. I have two cables coming out of my computer, and none of them are the charging cable that I would need for the mouse. I don't think. I didn't look around back. Probably should do that. Nope. Of course not. Apple mice. I will give Apple, I love Apple. I give Apple props for their design work and I love Apple stuff. I worked for Apple in New York. They were an amazing company to work for. Not only did I love their stuff, but they were amazing to work for when I worked for them. I don't know what it's like now, but I will say that it was great, an awesome experience. But if you've never seen an Apple mouse, it looks like this. It's really nice. It's touch enabled, so you can scroll left and right and up and down just by touching on it. Super beautiful. Andrew's just saying the mouse is a silly design where it plugs in. Yeah, that's what I'm going to show y'all. So, um, you would think like where would you put a plug on a mouse, right? Probably like maybe right here, or maybe even if you had to on the side because you hold it like this. So maybe on a side or something. No, they put it here. You cannot use the mouse while it's being charged. Not at all. Like you can't even use, if you plug this mouse in, they disable, you can't even use the touch to scroll around. It completely disables the mouse. It is the silliest design, and they have gotten, like, a lot of people have made fun of them for this. It's a ridiculous place to put the charging port, and it charges. I don't know if they've updated this. This one is an older one, and it charges using the phone cable, the lightning cable. which they've done away with now on the iPhone. So I don't know if they've upgraded their mouses to USB-C or not. I feel like they may have, but it's still on the block. It makes no sense. Um, Sanders says most mouses have batteries. Yes, so I don't have it here, but Apple's mouse used to run on batteries. And Apple sold their own batteries. These were I still have them. These are the Apple rechargeable batteries. And this was their fancy battery charger. And you could, if you went to a different country or whatever, you could pop in, they used to do this, the outlet for the other country. They used to sell a world converter. They don't do that anymore. Believe me, I looked. But you could slide this out and slide this in. I thought that was a really cool design. And the batteries are charged, and you could always have batteries. I have like 2 or 3 of these, and I have a bunch of batteries. But I will say that they lasted a while, but I hate having anything with batteries that you take in and out. So I'm fine with a rechargeable mouse. I actually hated having to charge the batteries all the time and have a port under here where you pop the batteries out. Because if your batteries weren't charged, you could not use your mouse at all until they charged. This you can at least plug in for like 5 minutes and get a good bit of charge out of, but you still can't use the mouse while you're doing it. So for those of you who didn't know, that's kind of the laughing stock of the Apple design world right now is their mouse. They are very smart in a lot of things, but that charging port, ridiculous. Even I'll admit that. And I usually stand up for Apple for almost everything, but it's kind of ridiculous. Let's see. These were 24 strings. These are high quality Tiger Eye. I'm going to bring them down to 18 a strand. Got 2 strands available. Sandra says, are they still like that? The mice? Yes. This is an older one. I bought it a little while ago, but it has lightning. They might have USB-C now. They might have done that upgrade. I'm pretty sure they did since the phones don't have lightning chargers anymore. But it's still there. It's still in the same. They were hoping when they switched to USB-C, I believe that they were going to change the position. They never have. Diane says those beads were probably Mexican onyx, which is a type of chalcedony. Very possibly. Andrew says alabaster. Diane says maybe chalcedony or Mexican onyx. Whatever they are, they're super pretty, and somebody grabbed them, so thank you. All right, look at how beautiful. Look, these are vintage. Look at the quality. Andrew says it's a sleek design. I like how thin it is, but it's weird how to charge it. Like the pencils too, they stick out, and I'm always worried I've knocked into and break off the ends. Yeah, they have updated the pencil. The very first Apple Pencil, you pulled off the cap and you stuck it in the port of your iPad, and it hung out the end of the port. Like if your iPad was here, the pencil stuck out like this to charge. And it was super scary every time we charged them. Now they're magnetic and they charge via magnetic charging, and they just stick to the edge of the iPads, and they charge that way. But that was, I think there is actually still one that's charged by USB-C and it sticks out like that still. But they have made a little adapter that you can dangle it instead of like super sticking out, which is a little bit better anyway. Look how beautiful these are though. Beautiful tiger eye, vintage. There's almost even a little bit of blue tiger eye in this one. Look at that. Super pretty. There are 2 strands of these available. They're both super pretty. Andrew says Diane is probably right with that type of chalcedony. Probably the mouse needs to be magnetic charged. Yeah, that would be better. I mean, even if you still couldn't use it, or if the magnet, attached to the side of it. Here's the other strand. Sanders asking for size. I'm going to get you size real quick. I think these are 10. Yeah, 10 millimeters on the dot. 10 millimeter. Beautiful. Look at that. You're not going to see a finer tiger eye, I don't think, for $18 for a strand than those. Those are stunning. 10 millimeter tiger eye, $18 a strand, 2 strands available only. Vintage. That's that good vintage quality. Once it's gone, it's gone. You'll pay more next time. Unless we still have some of these left next time. But once they're gone, you'll pay more, I'm sure. Well, you're definitely going to pay more next time because they both just sold. Thank you so much. Somebody knows how much of a deal that was. All right. Next up. WIL 15. Oh, I got in this little bag. Andrew says, I hope the cinnamon rolls are nice. I added more flour to make the dough more workable, and I hope it's not tough. I'm sure they'll be delightful. Okay. I have 2 of these lampwork glass strands. They're as similar as they can be for being lampwork glass strands, right? They're going to be different no matter what. But they're these beautiful strands. Here, let me just show you one. It's easier just to show you one. Let me give you the price first for these. They were 18 a strand. I'm going to bring them down to 14 a strand. We did them at 16 one time. I still have them, so I'm going to bring them down to 14. Oops, somebody tried to grab another 14. Sorry, they are sold out. Sorry about that. This is WIL 15. Beautiful lampwork glass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beads per strand. $14 each. Anna says, those are lovely tiger eye. The smaller ones I bought from you are just beautiful. Yeah, those probably the vintage ones too. That vintage quality for the price, you can't beat it. And this is the other strand of these, just so you can see. They're very similar. You'll get one of the strands. WIL 15, only $14 each. 2 of them available. Suzanne says, now I want a cinnamon roll. Andrew says, are there good places for them in New Orleans? Are there? Someday I'll get to New Orleans. We'll visit Suzanne. I always wanted to go there. It's all that French background stuff. I'm going to put these away. Nobody's grabbed these. WIL 7, only $16 for that beautiful carnelian. Vintage, deep, beautiful color carnelian nuggets. Nuggety drops. WIL 7, only $16. Suzanne says yes. Nora says, my cookies came out a bit strange. The Heath bits made them spread, and they're a strange texture. Taste good, though. Taste is all that matters for that, right? Taste is what matters. We have 2 of these left. If anybody's looking to grab them before they're gone, we've never gone to $5. Tonight, we've gone to $5 on them. WIL 8. They are carved and dyed bone. Only 2 of those left. Once they're gone, we will probably never see that again. I've never seen that shape before. I love it so much. 2 of them left. We have these. These are the Chinese ceramic, $1 a bead only. 14 of them available. This is what was a large strand of vintage check glass. I love this color and shape. These are 13 millimeters by 18 millimeter beads. And you get all of them. I think there were 24 of them here for $8. $8 on that. WIL 13 is this beautiful high grade amber chip strand for $30, was $45. And then these 2 lampwork glass bead strands were 18 each, now down to 14 each. Let's see here. Here's another amber strand. This one is a slightly lighter color. Was 45, now 30. Slightly lighter color than this one. So let me show you those two together. You can see. See the difference? You like the lighter color? Did I say carnelian? No, amber. Amber, not carnelian. Lighter color, amber. In my head, I said carnelian. I don't know if I actually did or not. But these are nice high-end chips of Baltic amber. And these are $30 a strand. What did we say? I think they were, there it is again, wrong way. I didn't even turn it. I don't know how it turned on its own. 18-inch strands. Let's see here. Andrew says, maybe do an AG live challenge, autumn color design. Yeah, we haven't done an AG live challenge in a while. That's a good idea. So let's do that. AG live challenge. Do I have a AG live challenge? Show us something that you've made with autumn colors in the Allegory Gallery Design Challenge group, or post it on your own timeline and tag it AG live challenge. We'd love to see what you've been making. Susan says, Norma, perfection is overrated, right? Especially when it comes to snacks. Michelle saw their doctors, have what's wrong and what's next. Got a confusing one diagnosis. That's sad. It's hard when that happens. Andrew says, I liked seeing all the folks who were using buttons and how they were using buttons. Yeah, right? I love that. I didn't even know that was happening until people started posting about it. And then it was so cool to see how you're all using buttons in your designs. Michelle's hubby's getting back surgery on November 18th. I hope it all goes well for him. We wish him well, of course. Karen says, oh man, I just posted something, LOL. Might have a new one. That's okay. Post it, tag it. Oh, we just sold 12. Thank you so much. That's the vintage check glass. Appreciate that. Take that out of the way. Move this over. Diane says, I need to figure out how to post to Facebook from my phone. I've got an Android. I know people here have Androids. So I can't help you with that because unfortunately I do not have an Android. And I don't know what the difference would be, but I'm sure people here can help you figuring out how to post from your phone. I don't know. I didn't know you. I didn't realize you were having issues posting from your phone. That sucks. Now, for those of you who love lamp work glass, we had this at 20. I'm going to bring it down to 18. I keep hitting myself. Look, I keep hitting myself with this Sharpie. We have this beautiful lampwork bead. I don't know, Andrew, is this Joanne Zakowski? Or do you know who this might be? It kind of reminds me of some of her stuff, but I don't know that it is. Diane says, I've needed to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how Android would be different. On my phone, it's just in the Facebook app and you just tap the little picture icon and it takes you into your photo album and you just pick it and you post it. Do you have the Facebook app on your phone? I love this. It's got that kind of goldstone in there and that blue glass background. On this side, it's just these dots, which is kind of cool. Unless you have, what is that called with the dot phobia? But look at how beautiful that is. Norma, I know Norma knows lamp work. You said that's really unusual. Nice colors, right? And what a good price. $18 only. That's a lot of work for $18. There you go. It's a lot of work for $18. We probably should never sell lamp work at that price, but we have it. Diane says, yes, but so far I've only scrolled through Facebook. Oh, you should just be able to tap on like make a post. And once you tap on the make a post, it should come up at the bottom. There should be a place, a little, usually I think it's green, where you tap on to do an image. And then it should just take you into your camera roll. And you should be able to pick the image, write something about it, and hit send or post. That's stunning, says Susan. Anna says, are you using the Facebook app? There may be differences between the app and the web. That could be too. Kimberly says, that would be so pretty on a Beetlon Independent finding. See that? Everybody's got ideas for it already. Susie says, I screenshot, photo goes to the gallery, and I post from there. Norma says, yes, Norma is very tempted by that. It's still available. I can't believe it. It's so pretty. And it's such great autumn colors. Take a look at that. Let me give you the size too. I don't think I did the size, did I? It's 30 and a half by 36 and a half. Marianne says, it's easy to post to Facebook from an Android phone. There are options for camera icon and gifts. You just click it and it either takes you to your pics on your phone or a selection of gifts. Marianne says, I haven't used the app. There you go. Hopefully that'll help. We want you to be able to post, Diane. You gotta make stuff and post and show us. You're grabbing up a bunch of good stuff. We want to see what you do with it. For certain. For certain. I can't remember. I think we did these at $8 the other night. We had the yellow, those oh, we did just sell 17. Somebody grabbed it. Somebody grabbed it. Thank you so much. Okay. So 18. We had those, I called them I think they were like a buttermilk yellow pearl. These little rice pearls or like Rice Krispie, I called them pearls because they look kind of like Rice Krispies. I have them today in this color, in this candy color. What is this color? I don't know. It's pretty bright pink. And again, they're like rice pearl kind of, but they're like Rice Krispie pearls. They look like puffed Rice Krispies. Cotton candy, that's it. Cotton candy, that's the word I was thinking of. Thank you, Kimberly. Beautiful. Let's see here. Anne says, I was eyeing 17 too. Someone got a good one. Kimberly says, good. I was about to send an email for it. Norma, did you cave? She says, I did. Diane says, I just tried to post. It needs to be approved. Pick is not that great. Yeah, if you haven't posted in the group before, usually we have to approve the first one and then set the settings so that you're okay to post. We always do that because we get a lot of spam trying to post in our group. So we will, once I can use the computer again or my phone, or maybe Andrew will do it. We can approve you, and then we'll be able to see. Thank you for figuring it out, Diane. That's nice. Now we'll be able to see things from you. Pair those with the popcorn from yesterday, and so pretty. I know, right? Was it just yesterday? It was just yesterday. Yeah, it was just yesterday. And I actually reduced the price on these ones. We had them at 10 a strand for the yellow ones. Um, these were the yellow ones. So if you got those ones, look how pretty they are together. So I priced these even a little bit lower because I forgot. So there you go. You get the pink ones for even cheaper today. There are more of them, so maybe that'll help us clear some of them out. But yeah, they were $10. Now these are 8 per strand. Vintage Rice Krispie pearls, I'm gonna call them. That's it. Susan says, I like that bright pink, right? Carnival pearls, says Kimberly. It's a bit of a Pepto color, but pretty. A little bit. In person, they have that pearl shine, so they're a little bit less Pepto at least. Everybody can't wait to see what you make. I know, I love seeing what people make. Nobody's jumping at these pink pearls right now. I'm gonna put 8 away. We still have 2 of those bone pendants if anybody's interested. Once they're gone, they're gone. We've never offered them at $5 each, so now's the time to get them if you want them. And this is like strawberry Laffy Taffy. Oh, I forgot about Laffy Taffy. That's a thing. That's a thing. I used to love Laffy Taffy. Oh, we sold one of the 18s. Thank you so much. There's obviously a lot of them here, but we've sold one so far. Thank you. I'm going to put the vintage Chinese ceramic beads away. Nobody's grabbed any of those. There are still 14 of those available at $1 each. We'll move this down. Give this amber a little bit last chance for anybody to grab them. Kind of surprised none of the amber strands have sold. I think that's a really good price for that quality amber. I know they're chips. Not everyone loves chips. That's the harder part. Strawberry and banana Laffy Taffy, says Kimberly, right? Kimberly says, I think I have a couple strands of them. I know we've done these before, so you might. You might. I don't know if 8 is the price we've charged before, because apparently I made them at 10 last night. But hey, that's all right. I'll give a deal tonight. Why not? Right? Why the heck not? Okay. These are some big A beads. These are vintage check. Whoa. Everything's just like rolling off the edge of the desk. I don't know why. Look at how big these are. Beautiful big A beads. These were originally, what's my price say, 18. I'm gonna come down to 12. I've got 2 strands of these available for you. Kimberly says, I honestly don't remember. I have slept since then. That's funny. Oh, I smell what I think are cinnamon rolls being done. Look at these. Beautiful green. They're not quite round. They're vintage check. They could be antique check at this point. They probably are antique check. They're dimpled. You get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 beads on a strand. And they are big. These are 16.5 millimeters. And you get the whole strand for only $12. Was 18, which was a low price to start with. But for those of you who like big check and vintage check, these are really cool. And they're a really good deal right now. $12 a strand, 2 strands available, WIL 19. All right, now I do need to make room because we're getting into the comment section over here. So let me put away I put away the amber. WIL 13, still available if anybody wants to grab it. And WIL 15, Lamport glass. Oh, I smell cinnamon rolls. It's wafting up here into the office. Smells so good. And this is really cool shape on this. I know, right? Okay, let's move these over. Let's move these over. Really cool shape. That's super cool. And beautiful green. What a beautiful green color. Getting ready for Christmas. That's a nice Christmas green. But just, it's also a very nice spring green. I just think they're kind of magical. They're really pretty. All right, anyway, let me keep moving. WIL 20. Got some other Lamport glass. I'm going to give you the lowest price ever on these too. WIL 20. This is a set of 3 Lamport glass rondelles. They were 18. That's the old price. We're going to do them for 14 for you all. I know a lot of people are into this kind of pink color lately. So I grabbed these. Really pretty. You've got the clear glass around a core of pink. It's almost like, I don't know, almost a purpley pink. Or a mauvey pink. I like that one light spot in that too. So these are Lamport glass rondelles. They are approximately 13.5 millimeters. 13, 13 point, there's 13.1, 13.9, 14. So between 13 and 14 millimeters, you get all 3 of them for $14. WIL 20. All right. WIL 21 are these beautiful shell beads. Natural shell. Beautiful colors. I'm told they are naturally these colors, which is wild to me. Beautiful beads. Love, love, love these. A little bit of that red, a little bit of that purple, yellow. They're kind of like spiny oyster, but a lot less expensive. And these are a little over 12 inch, about 12 and a quarter inch strands. And the beads themselves are about 6 millimeter. 6 millimeter shell beads. Love those. 3 strands available, $10 a strand. Those are from the Philippines. All right, I'm going to put this away. That's the lighter amber. Baltic amber was $45, now $30 a strand. We just sold one of the 21s. Thank you so much. We have 2 of them still available. 2 of them still available only. I'm going to put these away. Still got a bunch of those available. WIL 18, $8 a strand. And we'll move these down. Okay. Let's see, what can I do on these? These are a dyed stone, but super pretty. They have that bright kind of blue color. Faceted drops. Get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them on there. They were $10 for the strand. I'll do them at $6 for the strand. I love these. I think they're really, really pretty. They are a dyed stone, but super pretty nonetheless. And they are approximately 15 by 22.5 millimeter drops. WIL 22. Kimberly says super pretty, right? Only $6. Good deal for some nice large beads. We've just sold another one of the 21s. Thank you so much. There's only one of those left. If you're looking to get one of these, we've only got the one. Oh, we just sold it. Thank you so much. All of those are now gone. Ooh,
Can show it.
look at that, everybody.
I didn't add enough cinnamon.
From scratch, y'all. Now he's tempting me. I can't get my fingers dirty, though.
I'll take it.
You're so nice, Andrew. So nice. He's like, I'll take that off your hands.
You have one of Gail's sets.
Is that Gail?
Gail Crosman.
Gail Crosman Moore? I wasn't sure who that was. So that there you go, everybody. There's the name. Gail Crosman Moore. They were 18 down to 14 for y'all.
Borosilicate.
Borosilicate. Oh, they're borosilicate too. All right, that one just sold too. WIL 22 sold. Anne says yum. Suzanne says yum. Kimberly says yummo. Susan says, thanks. You're making me hungry. LOL. Me too. Imagine me, Susan. Poor me. I have had to smell it, look at it, know my hands are too dirty from touching the beads to eat it. Oh, so sad. It's so sad for me right now. You should all be sad for me. All right. I'm going to do these as separate ones. WIL 23 and WIL 24. When we have a lot of these, we don't allow you to choose, but I'm going to do them as separate lots so that you can tonight, if you want to. This is WIL 23. This is a beautiful turquoise nugget. $10 only. These are nice, big turquoise nuggets. Look at the color in that. Super pretty. This one is a little bit smaller than the next one. So this one is 19.7 by 24.2. And then 24 is this one. It's bigger, but has less color. The color's kind of around the edge, which is kind of cool. Like, see that? But it has more of the matrix on the larger sides. Still really beautiful turquoise. 22.2 by 31.2. So there they are, $10 each. You pick if you want. WIL 23 and WIL 24. Beautiful turquoise beads. Hubei turquoise. Susan says, that's torture, William. I know, right? Serious torture going on in this house. All right. What's next? Okay. I think $12 was a good price on these. I'm going to bring it down to 10. WIL 25. Large. This is a bag of hematite, real hematite. And they're kind of, there's a mix in here. There's some rounds. Let me see if I can get you a better. These are the kind of shapes there are. There's those rounds, there's the right beads, and there's the rice beads and the cylinders. Beautiful hematite. Look at that. It looks really good. It doesn't look as good looking at it through the bag, right? Look how beautiful those beads are. The cylinders are about 4.5 by, I can't do this one-handed. Come on, do what I want you to do. By 13. And then these are 4.2 by, we'll say 11. We'll say 12. And then the rounds in there are 5. So that's WIL 25. And you get the whole bag of them for $10. That's probably like 2 strands of real hematite, not hema-like, hematite, real stones. WIL 25, $10 for the bag. We're going to put 19 away. We haven't sold that, but we've got 2 of them available. The large vintage check glass, $12 a strand only tonight. Only, y'all. Okay, let me put this. Oh, I still smell those. They smell so good. All right. Everything had a bag, and now suddenly I'm out of bags. What is happening around here? Let's see. I guess we've got this bag. That's a big bag for a little thing. I'm going to put this Gail Crosman Moore's piece away. Borosilicate glass, $14 only. 1 strand available. And we're going to move the turquoise. 23. 24. And the hematite, 25. Okay. How y'all doing? Having a good night? I hope y'all are. I'm having a good night. It's fun hanging out with y'all. I definitely enjoy it. All right. I have these coming up. WIL 26. WIL 27. And WIL 28. I'm doing these individually for the first time ever too, so that you can choose which you'd like. Let me move this down here so we can make some room. There we go. Okay, this is WIL 26. These are Kenyan bone, carved bone from Kenya. Tooth pendants, $10 each only. That's WIL 26 for that one. WIL 27 for the black. And WIL 28 for this kind of woody red color. Carved bone from Kenya. Susan's a bit tired. So tired she said it twice. Oh no. Mary says the smell of bread is very nostalgic for me. My family, I guess my grandmother on my dad's side did bake bread, but we didn't bake a lot of bread. But pies and things like that, that is definitely nostalgic for me. Susan said baking bread is a lovely aroma, right? It really is. All right. Let's see here. Get into my bag of bags because somehow my bags are disappearing. I'm gonna put away the turquoise, 23 for only $10. We've just sold 26. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna put 24 away. It's this turquoise, $10. And I'm also gonna put away 26 since it's sold. Thank you so much. So 25 is still available, 27 and 28. Okay, this was 14. I'm going to bring it down to 10. Ooh, that's nice for $10. Should I do it at 10? Okay. Tonight only. I can always put the price back up if it doesn't sell. Sometimes things are hard to let go of. This is a beautiful, beautiful shell strand. Look, natural shell. Look at that. It might be mother of pearl. I don't know. Anybody know? I don't know if Andrew's watching anymore. If it is mother of pearl, that's a really cheap price for that. But it's really pretty. Nuggety goodness. Hello, Vicky. Thanks for joining us. Look at that. Look at that. Such pretty colors, especially that golden color. Andrew's probably eating cinnamon rolls, Susanna. I know, right? Oh, Andrew just approved Diane's post. Thank you. Look at that, though. Those are really pretty. And this strand, that's a nice big strand of that. Shell, mother of pearl, I don't know. But it is a 16-inch strand. He says, I was eating the cinnamon roll. They needed more cinnamon. Did you add more? I probably can't add more now, right? That's about 11.5 millimeters. Andrew says it's shell. So it's shell. It's really pretty shell. WIL 29. Oops. Wow, I keep marking myself up with a Sharpie. Some nice. Okay. These are wooden beads. We have these only at $5 a strand. There are 7 strands available. These have the most amazing, this is going to sound weird, but like peppery smell. This wood smells so good. And these strands are 16-inch strands of these beautiful 7.5 to 8 millimeter, about 7.5 millimeter wood beads. These are amazingly lightweight, super lightweight, beautiful wood beads. Smell peppery. It smells so good. Look how pretty they are. And there are 7 strands available. Natural wood beads. $5 each only. $5 a strand. How do you beat that? And it says they're basically just sweet bread with frosting. That sounds good though. That's all right. I will eat that. I will eat that. I'm putting away the hematite bag. That's a lot of hematite, y'all. You're missing out on that if nobody's grabbed that. WIL 25. I'm gonna move 27 over. I'm gonna move 28 down here. 29, gonna move that over. 30. Like, look at these. Add one of those. Done. Like that combo. Maybe with that one. Not pretty. Or especially the person who grabbed this one. This was 26. Look at that. Look at all that together. Beautiful. That's the winner there. All right. 30. Sweet bread with frosting is acceptable, but isn't a sticky cinnamon bun, says Mary Ann. Underestimated the amount of cinnamon it takes, huh? Just sprinkle some cinnamon in the frosting. Did you frost them all already? Maybe add some more cinnamon to the frosting. This was $9. I'm going to bring it down to 8. I can't go lower than that. This is a beautiful crystal chain. Already done for those of you who don't want to wrap your own crystal chain. Kimberly says, that is so pretty. I might need another one of those bone beads. We just sold 2 of the 30s. Thank you so much. There are 5 of them left. This is a very long chain. Y'all, look at it going, 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 going. I don't quite know how long this is. Let's see. That goes to, that's almost 40 inches. Almost 40 inches of chain with that yellow crystal in there. And those crystals are about 4 millimeters. Gilbert says he'll have your roll. Nobody's going to get my roll. My roll is my roll. What are y'all doing? What are you all doing? All right. 31 just sold. Thank you so much. 29 just sold. Thank you so much. And says, making me hungry, might have to have cinnamon toast after the live. Ooh, cinnamon toast is good. Do you do sugar on your cinnamon toast? My grandmother used to make us cinnamon toast, and it was always cinnamon sugar on the toast. And I loved it. Cinnamon sugar toast. So good. Especially put some butter on. First, you put the butter on your toast, and then you do the cinnamon sugar, and the cinnamon sugar melts into the butter, and it makes it a little bit wet when you bite into it, and it kind of sloshes a little bit, but it's so good. Marianne says cinnamon buns need brown sugar and loads of cinnamon. Cream cheese frosting optional. No, the frosting is not optional. I did pick him up brown sugar. He had brown sugar. Of course, have to have sugar and butter, right? That's the way to do it. So good. All right, WIL 32. WIL 32. See, it's I like when y'all comment a lot because it helps me on the live. And it helps time pass too. It doesn't hurt that Andrew has food waiting. I don't know what we're gonna have for dinner. It might just be his cinnamon buns because they are so good. You always get the white brown sugar. That's all they had. I usually always buy dark brown sugar, but I had to stop at Dollar General today and they only have the light brown sugar. That's all they carry. It was sad because I always like to get the dark brown. Um, Anne says, yes, we always had butter and cinnamon sugar on toast. I keep Penzeys cinnamon sugar mix in stock now. Nice. My grandmother always made her own cinnamon sugar. And when I make it, it's never the same. I don't know what combo she used, like what percentages, but her cinnamon sugar, she kept it in a little jar. She made it herself. It was always so good. Cinnamon toast was a perfect dessert when you didn't have a lot of money. It is a perfect dessert anyway. Doesn't matter. It's so good. Marian says, or you can mix the sugar, butter, and cinnamon together and spread that on your toast. That's not how you do it. We always put the butter on and then sprinkled the cinnamon sugar on, and you'd watch it ooze and melt into the butter. It was so fun. Gertie wants a cinnamon roll. I bet she does. Look at this. Beautiful. These are black chalcedony, is what they're marked as. Black chalcedony plain pears, 12 to 15 millimeters approximately, a 7-inch strand, that it is, and these are vintage. Was $26, now 20. Beautiful, beautiful. It's the black chalcedony, black plain pear. Gorgeous strand, only one available. Look at that color. Look at the glowiness of it. Somebody's trying to get in my door up here. They think I've got the cinnamon rolls. Diane says just add a little molasses to make the brown sugar darker. Yeah, I don't think we have molasses though. And says when we had the lean times growing up, my mom would mix torn pieces of white bread, sugar, and milk. That was comfort food for me for a long time. Sounds gross now. I don't know. White bread, sugar, and milk. It doesn't sound terrible. I don't drink a lot of milk though now. My ways ends up the same, William. Of course it ends up the same. It's just not as fun to watch. No molasses, alas. Yeah. We occasionally got cinnamon sugar sandwiches in our school lunches. Like from the school? Our school didn't do that. WIL 33. All right. This we had at 42. At one point, we brought it down to 20. It has not sold yet. We'll try it again. Maybe you missed it. This is a really lovely. I think this is a day when Andrew was trying to do $20 only, nothing more than $20, and he brought this down and probably shouldn't have. But look at this. These are garnets. They are faceted, top drilled ovals. Look at the quality. Look at the color. Look at the clarity. This was a $42 strand. I'm doing it for 20 again. Probably should never do this for 20. But one chance. Andrew says, I'm keeping that one if it doesn't sell. So you've got one more chance, y'all, to buy this before Andrew's keeping it. Look at how lovely they are. Beautiful garnets. They are approximately, I'm going to try and get a reading on them here. Let me get this one. That's 7 millimeters by, by about 6. The only reason I'm running this one again is because we're trying to make the money for the Italy trip. Otherwise, we'd never do that for 20 again. Last chance to grab it for 20. And let's see, it did just sell. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Norma says there are purists who say cinnamon sugar toast has to be done under the broiler, but I disagree. My mother always did it the same way you describe, William. Yeah. And I can't remember. I don't think my grandmother may have put them under like the toaster oven broiler for a quick second, but I don't even know that she did that. I think it was just in the toaster with some nice butter and then sprinkle the cinnamon sugar on top. Broiler takes too long, says Diane. Yeah, if you're using the oven broiler, especially, right? Barnaby was coughing and Gilbert ran over and kissed his head. Sweet. That is sweet. Marion says, no, for my mother, we didn't have school lunches in elementary grades. Oh. We did. We did not have, we always ate school lunches. We didn't have packed lunches, but I don't know. I'm guessing my mom may have gotten I don't know if we had reduced, prices for them or what. Or maybe it was just my mom didn't want to make more. She already made our breakfasts for us after a night shift. She maybe wasn't making I don't know. But I also think my brother and I didn't really want to have carried lunches. So we had school lunches, which were sometimes good and sometimes not. Michelle says we would make cinnamon French toast. Yeah, my grandmother did that for us too sometimes. I loved her French toast. Them cats be slinking around guilty style, says Andrew. Uh-oh, what's going on? And says, oh, I loved French toast. My dad made crepes a lot. Those were good too. I tried making crepes when I was younger. I think I did okay, but it's been a long time now. These are these tiny sterling charms. They're $9 each. There are 2 of them left. Whoa. And they're hard to hold on to because they're small. They've got a nice big bell on them. And they're these crossbones, skull and crossbones. They are 8.5 millimeters by 13.5 with the bail. Only 2 of them available. Sterling silver, really great prices for sterling. These are old prices. $9. Andrew says, I don't know. You need to talk to Gertie. Uh-oh. What's Gertie up to? Andrew says, I like crepes, but only when someone else makes them. I feel like I'm just standing there forever. Yeah, they're quick, but not, right? My mother used to make the best French toast, says Susan. We had it with powdered sugar. I still miss them. I know, there's nothing like it, right? May says, oh my goodness, I got to try that cinnamon toast. Sounds good, right? We didn't have school lunches until I was in grade 11, which is equivalent to your junior class. Yes, I would guess. Grade 11, we would consider junior class. We go to grade 12 generally. We had school lunches all through. Even in kindergarten, I think we had school lunches. Susan says, we had school lunches which were just vile. Oh no. Most of our school lunches were nothing special, but I thought they were pretty good. I did think they were pretty good. You know, I ate them with like no issues generally. These are beautiful vintage check glass strands. Look at that shape. Love that shape. Love those strands. That root beer color. Marianne says, I am old, William. It just wasn't the thing here. Yeah, I was lucky. We did have it, and they were pretty good. I mean, they were, they weren't home cooked meals by any means, but I can't complain too much. 7.7 millimeters by 20.5 per bead. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 beads on a strand. $12 only. Vintage check glass. 2 strands. I should mark this. There are 2 strands available. WIL 35. Diane says, there used to be a restaurant in Minneapolis called the Magic Pan, had the best crepes, both sweet and savory. Ooh. Norma says, Susan, mystery meat. May says, yes, Susan, the best was pizza at grade school. We always loved pizza day, right? Susan says, different era, William. They served the cheapest slop possible. I don't know that ours weren't like, we had like a lot of, well, pizza day everyone loved, but they did do like meatloafs but most of it was like, it was not home cooked food. It was like instant potatoes and sometimes chicken nuggets and trying to think back on all the foods we used to have for school. But I have to say, like, it wasn't terrible most of the time. Most of the time I had no problem eating it, thankfully. And it says I rarely ate school lunch, I guess because I was vegetarian. I did eat the cheese pizza on Pizza Fridays. Yeah, being a vegetarian would have been very difficult in our school. That was not, most of it was definitely meat based. Norma says pork pinwheels. Andrew says, when I was little, my mom packed my lunches, but the other kids would make fun of me, so I went on reduced lunches at school. They were not excellent. Everything was just out of the can. Susan says, Norma, that merits the big yuck. I was traumatized with their idea of mac and cheese, says May. Oh boy. And says, I remember the Magic Pan. We used to go whenever we went to the mall. That's cool. All right, WIL 36. We're going to go to 40 tonight, y'all. So we're almost done. We're almost there. Not that I mind it. I'm having a good time with y'all. It's been fun hanging out and chatting about all the things tonight. I hope you've been having fun too. I'm just trying to find bags. Let me put 27 away. This is still available for $10. That's that bone, hand carved bone pendants from Kenya. And I'm also going to put 28 away. That's this one. That one's about some type of coating, a shellac of some sort or something on it. And then I'm going to put these away. This is 30. There are still 5 of these available. Marion says, our school lunches were made by the culinary students at the school. That's kind of cool. We didn't have culinary students in our school. That was a different school you had to go to for that. Andrew says, our pizza was yuck. Yeah, our pizza was definitely not great, but everybody still loved pizza day. I don't know why. That was just, I guess it was better than some of the other stuff, but I actually didn't care for the pizza that much. It was so doughy. It was very doughy and not a lot of sauce. Norma says, we were so excited senior year when they added a separate line where we could get pizza and milkshakes instead of the healthy meal. That's interesting. I think now that you say that, we did have a separate line sometimes. I don't know if it was for pizza day. I can't remember. But sometimes there was a separate line for things if you didn't want. This is $9 for all 3 of these beautiful crystals. There's 1. There's 2. And then the darkest, 3. And these are 9 millimeters by 15 millimeters. You get all 3 of them for $9. Susan says, we had a magic pan too. It was in the Fancy Pants Mall. Think Neiman Marcus and Saks. Ooh. Anne says, why make fun of someone for not eating school lunches? The ways we find to be mean to each other at all ages. Geez, right? My guess is probably also because his mom was probably doing Filipino food too, which was probably different than a lot of people, which is delicious, by the way. And he says, couldn't wait to get to junior high when we could go off campus to eat. Oh no, we were not allowed to leave school to eat. My mom went to the same school when she was in school, they were allowed to leave school, I believe, and go eat. But by the time I had grown up to be in that high school, they did not allow you to leave school anymore. Oh, I love these. Look at all these. We had these at 16. I'm going to bring them down to 14. WIL 37. They're these stone carved flowers, and they are drilled through that way. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. And they're about 33 millimeters. We just sold 36. Let's see. Lena says, you've all made me want a cinnamon dessert now, right? Andrew says, I never liked pears because I only had them in fruit salad and they didn't taste like anything, but they were gritty. Oh, the canned fruit salads. Yeah. I used to like the pears though. I used to bite them because they were gritty like that. Diane says we had pizza burgers at school made from hamburger and spam with tomato sauce, similar to sloppy joes. I did love the school sloppy joes. But we also had pizza burgers, but they were just, it was like pizza sauce and cheese on hamburger buns. That's what our pizza burgers were. Never had the hamburger and spam with tomato sauce. That sounds, actually doesn't sound too bad, to be honest. Kind of like spam. I don't eat it anymore, but I did like it. Hello, Lennis, by the way. Anne says, my sister, best friend, and I used to skip out in the mornings when each of us had a free period study hall and we'd go to Dunkin' Donuts. We loved Bavarian creams. Oh, I think my mom was a Bavarian cream person. I hated Bavarian cream. To be 100% honest, did not enjoy Bavarian creams. Mine at Dunkin', and I feel like they've changed the recipe because I've tried them recently and I don't like them anymore, but maybe my tastes have just changed. But I love the chocolate cream filled donuts. That used to be my Dunkin' go-to, or the chocolate cream filled donuts. And now I feel like they don't taste the same, or maybe I just don't like it anymore. Andrew says we had this program where you could read books and get free pizza. Oh yeah, Book It. Book It. Pizza Hut. I think that was what it was called. Book It. You get pins and you get pizzas, a free personal pan pizza at Pizza Hut if you read so many books. I didn't read very many books, so I didn't get very many free pizzas. Every once in a while. We had very rectangular pizza slices, which were very doughy. We did have that too, Susan. We definitely had that too. I forgot about the actual the pizza burgers though, or until it was just mentioned here because Diane mentioned it because we did have those too. Norma says, Andrew, canned pears are gritty. I always hated pears until I grew up and tasted a real one instead of canned. The pizza was from Pizza Hut, and I used to collect those gold stars like it was my job, says Andrew, right? Anne says, I think fresh pears are gritty, not my favorite fruit. Fresh pears are gritty too. Absolutely. But I love pears. I love d'Anjou pears. I don't seem to find myself liking many other pears. Um, we've had this at 35. We've had it at 32. We've gone down to 26. I'm going to take it down to 24. Look at that price reduction. Only one of these left. This is the cubic zirconia faceted drops. CZs, everybody. CZs. Beautiful color. $24 for that strand. Marion says, I like canned pears, but peaches are better. I used to eat canned peaches right out of the can. Loved them. Andrew says, they used to make fun of me because of the Asian food. That's sad. No, I love Asian food. Andrew, everybody loves Asian. Who doesn't love Asian food? Kids are weird. Andrew says, in high school, the teachers would give students orders for pickup. Oh boy. No shops or food places close to any of the schools I attended. Us either. We were out in the country. But I don't know where my mom used to go when she went, but I guess there were little mom and pop restaurants and stuff around. Look how pretty these are. Super pretty. $24 for the strand only. Cubic zirconia beads. Actual CZs. 8.2 millimeters by 8. One strand available. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, about 23 beads on there. Like $1 a bead. A little over $1 a bead. He says, regarding pears, I've narrowed my favorite to Bartlett and Asian. I like d'Anjou. That's my favorite. And Diane says, I have the recipe if anyone wants it. Nice. I did get your recipe too, Diane. Thank you for sending it. And the link did work. So I got to check it out. I just clicked it real quick. Susan says, I like Dunkin' Donuts French vanilla coffee. Not crazy about donuts in general. I'm weird. That's okay. You don't have to like everything everybody likes, right? All right, I'm going to put the black chalcedony away. That's still available at only $20 for that strand. And that was 32, so that goes here. 34, the beautiful sterling silver skull and crossbones. $9 only on those. And I'm going to move these down. We'll make room for the last two lots tonight. I don't know what stone these are, but they're really cool. Some of them are a little bit more transparent. Look at that. I don't know what that is. It's very cool. Okay. My favorite Dunkin' Donut is toasted coconut. We can't get them in Kentucky, so I always get one when I visit my friends in Virginia. Oh, I used to love the toasted coconut too, Norma. I agree. That's a good one. That is a good one. Next up, WIL 39 is from Harry. Was 16, bringing it down to 14 for y'all. Is the mama cat and a kitten pendant from Harry Wood. Ceramic. I just realized I have the AG Live challenge up there still. We did an AG Live challenge, y'all. Let's see here. Andrew says, I like real Bavarian cream. The vanilla cream is just whipped frosting. Bavarian cream from a can tasted like food coloring and sadness. Marion says, if the pear is gritty, it really isn't ripe. Andrew says, I like Bosch pears. Love them now. Andrew says, William did not like all the Asian snacks. No, I did not like all the Asian snacks. Not all of them. Being different is never good when you are a school-aged kid, says Marianne, right? Dried cuttlefish was one of my favorites, and he didn't even try it. No, I did not try that. No, I did not try that. There are some things that I don't try. You know, I gotta get used to things sometimes. That was way out of my comfort zone. This one just sold. 37 just sold. Thank you so much. Says Marianne, it's not much better as an adult, right? Being weird, people don't accept that very easily. WIL 40. Let's see, I have two things to pick from for the end tonight. I think I'll pick these. This was 24. Taking it down to 18. This is a strand that's broken. So it doesn't quite look, it probably look more impressive. I should probably string it up because it looks more impressive maybe as a strand. Sometimes when you see a pile of things, it doesn't look quite as impressive. But these are vintage check glass. And just drop two of them. There they are. And they're these corner drilled, kind of rounded, squarish, diamond-ish shapes. I love them. They're slightly green gray, right? Here, let me show you the color again. But you get the whole bunch of them. I don't know how many are here. It's a lot. It was a big strand. And you get all of them for $18. And I love them. Just checking if they glow. They do not glow. Marion says, my current favorite donut is a glazed cinnamon twist from one of my local grocery stores. It still makes them every day. Nice. Andrew said, those are old prices for those skull charms. We won't be getting them in again. No, we will not. As I said, those are old prices for the sterling. Susan says, I think those were agate. Very possibly. Andrew says, looks like black agate. And they have sold. Thank you. Let's see here. Oops. Norma says, I love cinnamon twist, but never had a glazed one. Fresh donuts are amazing, says May. Unfortunately, these days we have adults who are arguably worse than children. Inexcusable, says Susan, right? I tried fried squid and it wasn't my favorite, says May. Oh, dried, says, oops, I meant dried. Dried squid. I don't know about that. I don't know about all that dried. Anne says, the trick is to enjoy your own company more than anyone else's. Then it's not as important if people like you. Student says, that's so true, Anne. Anne says, I could see not wanting to eat dried squid or lye-soaked fish, which is a Swedish thing. Yeah, I don't know about that. Dried, I don't know. Not much, I don't know about that. Anyway, y'all, we've made it to the end. We've got more people watching now than we had before, but we're at the end, everybody. So thank you all, those of you who grabbed things. Thank you all, those of you who made the conversation great. We appreciate it. I'm going to go down now and wash my hands and get some cinnamon roll before I tabulate tonight, I think. I need a little bit of a snack to get me through. Let's see here. Lutefisk cooked properly is excellent, says Diane. Andrew says, I used to love squid, but I don't eat them now. Yeah, me either. Norma says, Lutefisk, it sounds, oops, sorry, the comments jumped. It sounds so disgusting. I don't know. Guess if you do it right, it can be good. May says, thank you for the fun show. Enjoy the cinnamon rolls. I plan to. Anne says, thank you. Thank you all. Or surströmming, which is fermented fish. I don't know about that. Most I ever did anything like, I did pickled herring. I used to love pickled herring. We got it in glass jars and I used to eat it right out of the jar. It was so good. I remember it being good. I don't remember, I haven't had it in a long, long time, especially now that I don't eat any meat, but I used to love that in college. Tater tots and cinnamon rolls for the win, says Anne, right? Susan says, have a good night all. Have a great night all. You all have a great night. And we will see you back here tomorrow afternoon. Remember, tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern time, we will go live again before my pottery class. The last pottery class I'm going to have for a while, since we'll be in Italy after that, I think. Or maybe I have one more. I might have one more next week. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out. And we'll see those of you who can make it tomorrow at 3 p.m. All right, everybody. Have a great one. Bye now.